Think that's possible?
It's
Oh, come on.
9:01.
40.
We'll start with the pledge. Good morning, everyone. Hey, the minutes from the last meeting were sent out. Look for approval or any corrections or additions.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Kleeman to approve the minutes. Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the agenda. Elle, do you have anything to add?
No.
Dave?
Nope.
Craig?
No.
Bob? The only thing I have, Holly from the tax director's office asked to come in and talk about a change in her office. So guess that would be all. Look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, second by Commissioner Olson to approve the agenda with the addition. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, were there any public comments requested? Okay. Then we'll move on to the engineer reports. Just come on up.
Fine there.
Is Darren online?
He's gonna wait now.
Okay, yeah,
I am online though, madam, yes.
okay. We'll hear from Jeremy and then get back to you.
And I just got brief updates too, I guess. So, starting with construction projects, the Dunn Center paving on 98th and 4th Street. By next meeting, we should be able to finalize that pay estimate. There's just a couple of quantities we're trying to track, but we're almost really close to having that one wrapped up. Pinewood Meadows and 3T, there are just some punch list items that they need to address before we issue or recommend final payment. 10th Street, 113th Avenue, and 7th Street being built by Bronco Brothers. That's been suspended for the winter. There's no pay estimate until they get going again in the spring here. The paving phase of that project was bid at last meeting. Really no idea when that might get started for the paving. I would say it's midsummer or later for that project. Design projects, 114th, we're expecting a spring bid opening for that project. 103rd, we're hoping to get a February bid opening for that. We're hoping to get easements kind of finalized within about a week. So if that happens, we're looking at a February bid opening for that project. Inactive projects, no change on those. Miscellaneous, but the only thing to update the commission on is the transportation alternatives application we had sent in. We worked with Terry on getting that sent in and got some letters of support for that project. We sent that in, I believe it was December 31st was the deadline, so we got that sent in. Not really sure when that might be either known whether it's selected or not. I'm not sure the exact timeline, but it did get sent in. Appreciate Terry's help on that, and also the letters of support that we got. I think we got something from the school, the city, Cowboy Station, and the Saddle Club all helped on that. So appreciate everyone's help on that. But other than that, that's really all I had for updates.
Any questions?
Yeah, my question for what, we had a really good paving bid. Where did you see the off your estimate when you did your numbers? Was it in aggregate? Was it in the oil, or where was the difference?
It was a little bit of everything. The oil, the asphalt oil was cheaper, which maybe we should have anticipated that. Also, just the paving aggregate number was, I think we had estimated around 70 and it came in closer to 50.
Oh, well.
which I think it's two different things going on. The one thing is, it was a kind of a clean project in the fact that it's, a relatively high volume of mix. And it was just clean in the fact that there's not that many approaches. So, and it got bid early, so I think those contributed. Just the paving number itself in the mix and the oil, that was, I want to say, over $1 million less than what we had estimated. And that was based on what last year's numbers would have been. So you got a really good number. I don't, you would have expected that anytime else.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Aaron, you're on.
Morning, commissioners, and belated Happy New Year.
You
Am I
too.
blasting your ears out, or is this good volume?
You're good.
Okay, very good. A couple brief updates. Not much has really changed since our last commission meeting. We still have our 119th as well as our 99th Avenue Southwest projects that are still under construction. 119th obviously was not started. 99th, they just have some topsoiling and seating left. Probably the biggest thing to report on would be Manning. We did advertise that project on December 22nd to meet the statutes regarding advertising for that, and we're going to open those bids on January 21st. Just kind of looked currently at the plan holder list, and we have 4 prime contractors on that. So we're fielding some questions and trying to get everybody all the information that they need to give us a good bid on that. So keep your fingers crossed. For 2025 project, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No,
Okay, hearing none. So 2025 projects, I talked with Superintendent Schwarzenberger, if you guys remember, on 7th Street Southwest, the 101st to 97th. We have one remaining landowner out there that we're trying to schedule a sit down with. There's an unrelated matter that he kind of like addressed, and we're trying to sort through that. So hopefully we'll have something more to report at the next commissioning meeting on that. For 3rd, we've kind of been putting that one on the back burner as that's going to be a 2027 project. The design is basically complete. We've been doing limited right away on that. We did get the extension on the core permit for that one. And then for 7th Street, the second part of the 7th, which is 97th to 94th. I still haven't heard back from the core regarding the State Historical Preservation Office. You know, that 7th is a highly cultural sensitive area, and the Corps is still playing catch up from when they were shut down, but that's also a 2027 project. And then last but not least, on the 2026 project, 115th Avenue, the First Avenue one, we still have that one remaining landowner that I'm trying to coordinate with. Now, if the holiday season is over, I'm hoping to hear back. I think one of the landowners who has a percentage in the parcel that's remaining was overseas, but hopefully she should be back now too. So I'll have more to report on the next commission meeting on that one too. So that's all I have for this morning. So any questions for me?
Oh, I guess not. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Have a good day.
Harry. Do we have anybody else on? Was James? I believe so. No.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Terry.
There is no utility permits today, so I guess I got a couple things. Was wondering if it would be okay to advertise and advertise for bids for our equipment, gravel, scoria, and dust control, and open them at the February 18th meeting.
I think that's typically when we do it, so.
Oh.
And I guess the other thing, because in the bills this time, there was one of the subdivision grants in there from last year. But I was wondering, would you guys like to continue the subdivision grant program?
I think it's,
I mean, I think we're gonna cut one down that we probably won't be using it
Yeah.
right now.
I guess I'm okay with it. It's something to help.
That or we'll be in there doing it.
maybe just for clarity, we should have a motion to continue it. Okay.
I'd make the motion for their contributions to the subdivisions in like our past policy.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to continue the subdivision grant program as per our policy.
And that'll be just for 26.
26.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, and then I was wondering, we have a idle piece of equipment. They wouldn't give us anything for trade-in. It's an old crack sealer we got, and I was wondering if we could do like a JP or some kind of agreement to donate it to the city.
I think the city's been using it in the past, and I think keeping that relationship with the city is good to keep that moving along. I'd make a motion to donate Fair Patcher to the city of Kildare.
There's a second.
I'll second it for.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Pelton to donate the retired crack sealer to the city of Kildare. Any further discussion?
Hey, how about Dunn Center if they've gotten a lot of pavement in their streets done, are they gonna possibly need? Did they both use it or?
Yes. If we donate it to Kildare, they would need to work with Kildare, and I don't see why they wouldn't. Yeah.
I think in the past,
It
Terry,
would probably be better to donate it and then they could take care of the maintenance and all
Right.
that on it.
Yeah.
You know, just
I think in the past, the city used to just use it, and at least now they can keep it clean themselves.
Discussion?
We have another crack sealer.
Yeah, we purchased a new one late this fall here.
Mm.
So worst case, Dunn Center for the other cities that they needed, it, they could use that one then. possibly.
So the motion is to donate the retired crack to the city of Kildare. I guess we'll have roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, motion carries.
And I guess other than that, in the road department, with the weather like this, we're still hauling scoria and the guys are out working on trees right now, so.
So something I was thinking about, Terry, is if, with all the road projects, the ones that didn't get done in 25, what's for 26 and what's 27? If we could, we had a workshop on the pay scale, maybe a workshop with all the commissioners kind of go over kind of where things are. I know we get a report every meeting, but it just would be good to kind of see the overall picture, and if we could maybe set something up.
We could do that.
you and-
I think that'd be a great idea, because, for what we budgeted, we probably saved some money on the paving of the mountain. And I've been visiting with some contractors over Christmas, and and I encouraged Terry yesterday to get a list out there so they can see what's coming down the pike, because I know Bowman County's got a project coming up soon, and there's a lot of bidders, so there's some hungry contractors. So at least they have an idea what we have on our agenda. Would really be great idea.
Okay, well, we'll try to get something worked out, and
Sounds
if
good.
you guys are. Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Harry.
Gary, you are on at 10. Are you, Dunn County Sheriff Association, or is that Beth?
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
that's
okay,
the
okay.
PAC.
No. This, Sally, approval of depositories?
All right. Just here. Okay, so in the even numbered years in Century Code, we have to approve the banks that we use. So I need approval for the following banks to continue to use them: Bravera Bank, First International Bank and Trust, the Union Bank, and Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
I'd move to approve that we keep using these banks,
Second.
depositories.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Heiser to approve the list of banks as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thanks, Sally. Okay, reorganize the Board of County Commissioners. now that a new year is upon us. So Sally, let's.
All right, so we need to have nominations for the Board of Chair. Do I have any nominations for our chair?
Nominate Commissioner Dalzell for chair.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Pelton, to nominate, Commissioner Dalzell for chair.
Any other discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes. The motion carries. Okay, so I guess now that got that, I would open up nominations for vice chair.
Nominate Commissioner Pelton for vice chair.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Heiser, to nominate Commissioner Pelton as vice chair. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of Commissioner Pelton as vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Guys. Holly come in, so why don't we call her up?
Good morning,
morning.
Commissioner. Earlier this week, we had a little bit of a change in our office, so it is just me now. So I had just talked with Desi yesterday, working on our job description and trying to refine it a little bit more, and hopefully we'll get that posted today, later when I can revise the information with her. This is a super busy time of the year for me. I have February 1st deadline for assessments. I have a few left, quite a few left. I have March 1st deadline for exempt properties. So what I'm here today asking is if the commission would allow me to contract some help in for the next couple months. I do have 2 certified people in mind. I can't name names right now because they have other positions and things too, so I need to
Mhm.
talk with them, but they are certified with the state of North Dakota and they are familiar with our assessment programs and things like that. So it would be providing the services, in our office, probably part-time. It wouldn't be a full-time thing for them, but it would allow them to help me with some duties and alleviate some time for me to continue with all the other things that I have in the office happening. So
I'd make the motion to authorize her to get the personnel that she needs to keep things flowing.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Heiser, seconded by Commissioner Pelton, to authorize the tax director to get help in the office personnel as needed on a contract basis for now. Okay. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson? Commissioner Pelton? Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes.
I will just add that I am working on revising some type of contract and I'll send it through our state's attorney and stuff too. And then I can email it out to the board and make sure that you guys are okay with that. I'm assuming the state's attorney approval should be okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
Good luck.
Done. Board appointments. Oops.
There. Jack, take this.
Okay. We have a list of board positions, and I believe Loanne and Sarah had contacted all the terms, people whose terms were up and were willing to serve again. Is that correct, Loanne? Yeah. Okay. So those that you see where their terms expired in 25, they have agreed to continue and be reappointed. To look over.
gonna do altogether by each
And
station.
do all together. When you do the minutes, you would. The appointments.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
if I can clarify something.
Sure.
Sarah and I did do, like, we contacted everybody and got the complete updates, but we didn't ask them if they were
Oh.
expiring, if they would serve again.
Okay.
That discussion didn't happen. We just made sure that that list that you got, I think Sally, right? That's the list that they have,
Mhm.
that list was right. It should be correct. And if you notice something, please by all means, let me know. But I didn't ask them if they were willing to serve.
Okay.
So I'm sorry if I was supposed to. I just assumed that the boards that they sat on would be having that discussion. All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
You bet.
So should we contact them before we?
Yeah, there's a lot of ones expired on
Yeah,
December 31st.
should probably contact them before, which would just be 2 weeks, yeah.
If you
We
want,
could-
that. So expiring offices, you want them all to be contacted to see if they'd reserve or continue serving, right?
Continue, be reappointed to a new term.
Yes, I
Yeah.
will find, I can do that really fast.
Should probably table the board appointments.
And then we want to add the Mountain View Shooting Complex Board to this
Oh.
list too.
Yeah, we should add that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
View shooting
we're like
complex.
this. We don't have that many of them that are up.
Yeah, I'm surprised there aren't that many
Pretty,
that were up in 25.
about 4 of them. Well, one of them's yours, Tracy, so.
Yeah. That's kind of, it is a board, but we, I guess, consider it portfolio too, so.
I'm sure Bill would take his again. Norby, I'm sure will.
Mm-hmm.
Only one is Stein.
Lauren DeVernack and Howard
Mhm.
Parra, who's.
Is-
Oh, okay, there's a couple down there. at the bottom.
Is Sandy on? Is she here? She may have talked to her board. We'll find out.
Sure Zach, but he's pretty active in that.
Okay. Okay. So we'll just talk about that later in the meeting. I think we're,
Got a question?
yeah. Come back to that. Yeah.
2 on the park board.
Well, reappoint, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Check with her. I think she may have went to start.
talk to Loanne because she left to do that, so. Beer and liquor license?
We have a beer and liquor license for J&S Investments. At the McKenzie Bay Marina. They just turned in their beer and liquor license for 2026, so we just need that approved.
Liquor license for JNS Investment.
Second,
A motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Heiser to approve J&S's 26 liquor license. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
So are most of our liquor license up to date now, Sally, or?
I think we've got one for serve until the summertime, just like these guys.
The golf course.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
that's,
through the city now.
yeah.
Okay. That's the last.
okay. Um. Oh, yeah, tax deed action, Sally.
Okay, so in October and November, when we get ready to do our tax deed action sale, we have to transfer the people that are coming up for a lien into the county's name. And all of the people have paid those, so I just need approval to transfer all of those deeds back into the individuals' names because they are now paid and up to date.
I'd so move to transfer the deeds back to the owners.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Olson to transfer the tax deeds back to the owners. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And you were pretty much right about 9:30. Okay, financial report. Oh, nothing yet. It's too early in the,
Gonna try to get the year-end stuff done too, so I could do it all together at the next meeting.
okay, vouchers for our January 7th meeting. Those were sent out earlier as well. Have one addition.
I'd move to approve the vouchers as presented.
There's a typo in there, fix on there though.
6.
26 rather than 25 contract agreement for the DACO Resource Group.
For which one?
So the Nadako Resource Group, it says 2025 contract agreement. That should probably be 2026 contract agreement. So it's just a typo is all.
Good catch.
You're on your game.
Trying.
So there was a motion. Is there a second to approve the vouchers?
I'll second. With the change.
Any discussion? So the Southwest Water Authority water system, $3,879 for,
That's for the new building. The PSC.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Not, we'll have roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson, Commissioner Pelton, Commissioner Kleeman, Commissioner Dalzell.
Yes, the motion carries. Jeremy, did you have something else to? Joanne?
Right, do you, I don't have your board on here,
Yeah, we'll just,
but they'll all be brand new.
everybody's brand new.
So
we're good there.
she's making one last call and we're done.
Okay.
Everybody else is good.
Okay,
Okay?
Sounds good.
And you're you're okay too, right?
yeah, yeah. Jeremy, did you have anything to add? Okay, I didn't know if there was a important breakthrough of some sort. Okay. Okay. Then I guess we need to look at our portfolio assignments. You take care of that. Craig? I'm all right with all the ones I serve on. Al,
I'm good.
Dave,
I'm good.
Craig,
Yes.
Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to see our housing authority step up to the plate on a little more than. And kind of a standstill.
We got a meeting coming up here in a week or two again, and I'll probably get rolling.
What's that?
We got a meeting either next week or the week after, depending on, they were trying to get that lined up. Should get rolling again.
Gotta get straightened out with the. But to,
Yeah, that's what that meeting next week was with HUD.
Mhm.
And then start with the program.
Okay.
Start revising whatever we think we want to do there.
see that moving along.
You're on, you're on that portfolio too, right? Yeah. Okay. Great. So we have the portfolios as listed. I guess for the record, I'll names at. So 911, Commissioner Pelton and Olson, Airport, Commissioner Pelton and Dalzall, Building Committee, Commissioner Pelton and Olson, Building and Grounds, Commissioner Kleeman and Heiser, Communications, Commissioners Dalzall and Olson, and the Fair Board, Commissioner Dalzall, Emergency Management and 911, Commissioner Pelton and Olson, same as 911 coordinator, I guess, plus emergency management. Food Pantry, Commissioner Dalzall, Housing Authority, Commissioner Kleeman and Olson, Human Resources, Commissioner Dalzall and Olson, JDA, Commissioner Kleeman and Olson, NDSU, Commissioner Kleeman and Olson, Park Board, Commissioner Kleeman and Heiser, Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Pelton and Heiser, Public Information Officer, Commissioner Dalzall, Road Department, Commissioner Heiser and Commissioner Pelton, Roosevelt Custer, Commissioner Heiser, Rough Rider Human Service Zone, Commissioner Pelton, Southwest Multi Correction Center, Commissioner Dalzall, Tax Director, Commissioners Kleeman and Heiser, Veteran Service Officer, Commissioner Pelton, Vision West Committee, Commissioner Dalzall, Water Resource District, Commissioners Kleeman and Olson, Weed Control Officer and Board, Commissioner Kleeman and Pelton. I guess I would say, that we can only have one commissioner meet with their portfolios, without it being an open meeting. So even though there's two listed, I know Dave and I talked about the portfolios we share with HR and communications, that only one of us would meet unless for some reason we couldn't make it. Just kind of a backup. So I think we need to keep that in mind so we're not, violating open meetings. And
These that have meetings taken.
yeah, and like the building committee, those meetings would be published, and I think it's important we have two commissioners attend those meetings. There's a lot going on with that. Okay, so that's the list of portfolio assignments for 2026. So I'd look for a motion to approve.
I'd so move to approve the appointees for positions.
Second,
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to approve the commission portfolio assignments for 2026. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carries. Okay, Sandy.
Excuse me. Good morning. I did get a hold of all four of the planning and zoning people, and they were willing to serve. Jeremy Norby, Russell Stein, Howard Perhus, and Mr. DeVernack. Okay.
Thank you. So that was the only question we had.
was two in the park, wasn't there? But I think Will said they were,
They were.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So see the names. Dunn on Water Resource. Sandy just gave us the names of planning and zoning. There weren't any up in airport. None in weed. Uh, Nothing in housing this term. And park board, Will had said that, let's see, Bill was up, Bill Shaler and Zach Havlicek, and they're willing to serve again. And myself with the Southwest Multi-Correction Center. And I believe JDA we took care of. And that would be it. So
Madam Chairman, I move to reappoint Jeremy Nordby, Russ Stein, Howard Paragoose, and Lauren Vernock back to the Planning and Zoning Board. And Bill Shaler and Zach Pavlicek, the Park Board, and Commissioner Dolzall to the County Correction Center.
there's, okay, motion by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Kleeman to appoint, reappoint the positions that, terms that were up in 25 as presented. Do all of them again. Okay. Any discussion? If all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Sandy. Yeah. Guys ready? Are you waiting for anyone else? Hi.
Oh,
Okay.
So I fixed and read it.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Casey Broston. I'm a detective here with Dunn County Sheriff's Office. I'm also the president of our newly founded Dunn County Sheriff's Office Association of Deputies. And I have a lot of information for you guys. I don't know how much time we have here or if we're limited, but
Plenty of time.
okay. So surrounding area law enforcement, Stark County, Dickinson Police Department, they all have their own independent associations for their law enforcement employees, and they're more of a community-focused, officer-led organizations that do community events. We're talking daddy-daughter dances, mother-son dances. There's like bowling with a cop, shop with a cop, but it's things that our deputies can do. Again, they're led through the community. It's never been done here in Dunn County before. They're really successful down south in the Dickinson Stark County area. And the goal is to raise money. We're a nonprofit and help build morale outside of what we do internally. We have community events as far as barbecue cook-offs, but the money we use goes to deputies and their families. There's an event that happens. I can speak firsthand. When I started here at Dunn County, my daughter had to get open heart surgery at 4 months old. So it's nice when we have organizations like this set up that we can donate to those officers' families just for supplemental stuff in the time being, because the county already does a lot, but it can't do everything, right? So instead of outsourcing information publicly and GoFundMe stuff, our own organizations can take care of our own as well. The startup costs here requested would be greatly beneficial to get us going and moving in the right direction with starting these community events. I know we've talked as an association about moving forward with a daddy-daughter dance within the first 6 months. Are you guys familiar with what those programs are? Okay, something like that. On the back page, there's more of our anticipated costs from speaking with the other associations on roughly what it costs to hire a DJ and the facility and things that are associated with those events.
So you've already filed as a nonprofit with the state or already have that?
Yes, ma'am. Yep, we filed it with the Secretary of State's office, and then we're actually working firsthand with the the Charity Foundation, and
yeah.
it's a large foundation in
Mhm.
Dickinson area that helps exactly these nonprofits, and they help manage funds and
Any questions?
So you're looking for 10,000 to, I'd move
Yes,
that
sir.
we go ahead and give them the 10,000.
Second,
Get the program started.
The motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to donate $10,000 to the Dunn County Sheriff Association, is that right?
yes, ma'am.
Um, for to get their programs started. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman? Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks for coming.
Um,
I guess I come back after we do like a first event and kind of tell everything.
Mhm. Be great.
we do intend on creating a Facebook page to reflect our activities.
Mhm.
If you guys are on social media at
Mhm.
all, and everyone, it's
Yeah.
kind of hit or miss,
Yeah.
but we plan on uploading photos from our events and the turnout.
And
Sounds good. Thank
Probably
you.
let us know ahead of time that which events are coming. so maybe
Absolutely.
we can help.
Yep.
get
Can it be
attendance.
grandpa daughter dance or grandma's?
I'm sure we can work that in. Absolutely. So, thank you all.
so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Luck.
Luann, did you have something else? Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Why don't we take a break? We've, I think, taken care of everything on the agenda. Other than Senator Patton will be in at 10:30. And we could move it up, except he has another meeting at 10 on Teams here, so we'll recess till 10:30 or thereabouts.
Jeff got purple ones before.
We'll reconvene. And next on the agenda is Senator Dale Patton is here to kind of give us a update on what's happening in the world, North Dakota, Dunn County.
Good morning, and thank you for giving me a little bit of time today to visit a little about some things at the state level and how that could potentially impact us here in our district in Western North Dakota. I already told her why. I said I was going to start out with gross production tax, and I think I'm going to start out with the special session. We've got a special session scheduled for January 21st. The anticipation is that it will last 3 days. That's the governor's intention, to have it last 3 days. Primarily, it's going to be dealing with what I'm going to call the rural health care funding. If you remember the press, North Dakota got $199 million up front on that. We were guaranteed $100 million in the original Big Beautiful Bill, and we qualified for another $99 million. I believe there's going to be, I think it's 4 bills that'll come forward related to that. There's fairly tight restrictions on how that can be used. So I don't know that there's going to be a lot of discussion or changes in the bill drafts because they're going to be designed to comply with the grant. So I've not had to work on that, thankfully, but we should be able to move forward. And the focus is on rural healthcare. There's always a concern about what that means and the design and how it took place. Interestingly enough, when you look at the states that received the benefit, North Dakota got $199 million, Minnesota got $193 million, Montana, I think it was like 213 or 14 million. So we compared extremely favorable with our neighbors. And part of the criteria was it depended on how much of your rural residents were served by rural communities. For example, Alaska did not actually score very well because most of Alaska is served by Fairbanks, Anchorage, Juneau. So the population percentage was, South Carolina scored very high. The company that designed the study was from South Carolina, so I'm not sure if that had a role, but they had a lot of their residents actually are served by rural communities. So that was just a little bit of context about how that worked. And in North Dakota, I think we did very well. There will be, I believe, and I'm not sure if it's going to get through or not, there's going to be some other bills that they're going to try to get through. One of them has to do with the $1,600 primary residence credit and how it's being applied in the state. The way I understand it is being interpreted, and they believe that it's in compliance with the way the statute says right now. Basically, the benefit ends up being the maximum of $1,520 for a resident that applies when you factor in the 5% discount. And I've argued on that says I think that's a local decision that the counties are making. I don't know how you guys looked at it. And I was told today on a conversation with another legislator that they're anticipating that language is actually correct in how it's being applied. And so the $1,600 the state provides up to $1,600 is being, with the discount, ends up $1,520 for the homeowner. And I think that will try to be clarified and corrected so that the full $1,600 goes to the homeowner. I anticipate that there will be a big effort to get that one cleared up. Should have probably happened during the bill drafting but there was a big bill, a lot of moving parts, and there are some times when you have to do corrective actions to when you find out the actual implementation, and this would be one of those. There might be some other things. There's, I think, 3 or 4 that the Association of Counties have identified as issues. Senator Rummel out of Dickinson has looked at all of them, and he believes that none of them are rising to the level of needing to be addressed in the special session. And I've looked at his analysis and I agree with it. So I don't know if I'll see any more related to county level on regarding the tax side of it in the special session. And I wanted to give a very, is there any questions on any of those from the commission?
I have a question. Do you know, I know you're not on the committee, I guess, but for that rural healthcare money, is there anything being looked at for emergency services, rural ambulances, that type of thing?
Not sure on that side of it. The challenge is when you have like $199 million that come in, that's a lot of money. But how do you use it without generating an ongoing expense that
Yeah.
is required either by the state or the local political subdivisions or communities after the 199 is gone? You can't build a program that says, okay, we're going to fund it with this. And then when that money in 5 or 6 years is out, you've got an ongoing expense. Or if you're going to do it, you have to recognize that and be aware of it and factor that into it. We do have, and I serve on the Emergency Services Interim Committee, and we're looking at that aspect of related to it got to be a much bigger scope than originally thought. We were focusing on the fires and can we do a better job on these major events? And we're seeing some significant progress, I think, on that. We had the fire in McKinsey, a couple of them in McKinsey County. There was the one up in Williams County. Dunn County is very susceptible to those large fires as well with the amount of grasslands that you have here. And the intent is, at what point is the local resources overwhelmed or extended too far, and at what point, and how does the state become engaged more effectively, and how do we put in place the agreements, mutual aid agreements and so forth that can help and make it a more efficient process that and some of that may involve some funding. So we don't have those answers yet, but primarily, fire, ambulance is part of that discussion as well, the emergency services side of it, the certifications that are required for the different things. And so it's kind of been a big lift on that side of it. And I don't know that we'll get it all the way through just during this interim. There might be some additional things that need to be done after the 27th session, or we get identified in that. But it is on the table, and there is discussions taking place regarding it. So, any other? The gross production tax formula. During the last session, both McKinsey and Dunn County got hit. McKinsey was about $2 million, and Dunn, I think it was 1.2 or 1.4 million to go to the hub cities. That ended up, for most of the session, that additional funding was on the state side of it. And right at the end, I think in a conference committee, and it got shifted, part of it, and it hit us in that regard. I voted against it, but it went through. I thought that we should be able to handle that at a local level without changing the formula, but that's what happened. I am concerned that we will continue to see attacks on the gross production formula. There are legislators who are very good at watching funding that takes place, and they always check ending fund balances. So Dunn County needs to be aware of that when you get done at the ending fund of 2026, that if you have an extremely high ending fund balance, and I'll be honest, they don't care whether you've got it designated for a project, because that doesn't matter to them for their own district. If they can attach some of that money and change that formula to their benefit, they'll use the dollar amount. So be aware of that as you look at some of the projects that you've got. If you're sitting at $150 million or $200 million at the end of the year, the argument is going to be a very difficult one. And that message passed on to McKenzie County. I've talked to Montreal County, not in one of their meetings, but, and they're aware that this is going to be an issue. Their argument is that the original funding formulas were set up to help build infrastructure. And they have an argument related to that. They're saying in some cases, well, you've had time to build the infrastructure, so do you still need the same level? And you want to have answers to that. We've had some discussions about the ability for these heavily impacted 4 counties potentially to set up reserve accounts. The state is a little bit hypocritical in how they look at political subdivisions versus the state itself, because they have all kinds of limitations on, like, school districts that only carry over so much money, and counties, they look at the ending fund balances, how much they're carrying over and so forth. And the state has more reserve accounts and emergency funds than you could shake a stick at. I mean, we have them all over the place, but we don't allow the local political subdivisions to have that flexibility. Thought about trying to do something related to that, where because of the high volatility that related to, with the oil and gas industry and the fluctuations that we can experience, to allow for some of these to set up a reserve account for those times when revenues might be declined or impacted. I'm not sure I want to go there. It might just open up the can of worms. So if you guys have any thoughts related to that, I'd appreciate it. There's valid reasons why it should be available, but it also has risk associated with it. So I'm open to conversations related to that side of it, and then any questions on GPT, ending fund balances, and so forth.
Lightning.
The other argument, and I'm using this with a lot of state agencies as well, especially the Water Commission, Water Resources Fund, and everything like that, is that we are looking, we say sometimes a tendency for them to build up cash reserves. And the intent of a tax that generates cash and revenue is for a specific purpose. And in certain cases, it's to build, like the legacy fund is for build up cash for investment reasons. We have Common Schools Trust Fund. We've got some other investment accounts that we also have. But in many cases, it's actually to provide services or infrastructure. So when we look at the revenue streams that counties receive, the cities receive, and so forth, and state, the intent of that funding is to provide the services and the infrastructure for your communities. So when you have those high level of balances, sometimes it attracts attention that says, hard to argue with a county that has no reserves. They have no money, a township or a city or a small town that's struggling, and they see that money and they're gonna come looking for it. So another interesting one, which I actually chair, it's called the Advanced Nuclear Energy Committee, and some of you may have seen the report that came out. It was interesting. For some reason, I have now become, as chairing that now, the nuclear expert in the state, which has been I'm going to be honest, has been a little bit of an uphill climb for me. The company we hired called Nucleon, they took a look at the state and the resources that were available and identified 7 areas in the state that had potential. A Grand Forks area, the Fargo area, or just outside of Fargo, Jamestown, Ellendale, Dunn County, Williams and McKenzie County, and Bowman. I was surprised I didn't get more phone calls from these communities. I actually didn't get any from any of them. So I thought, okay, maybe they like it, or they don't like it, or they don't care, or they're not too concerned yet. And I think the don't be too concerned yet would be the right approach. primarily the focus is on what's called small modular reactors, and they are extremely expensive right now. They don't pencil out. And some of the information I've seen come out of the Department of Energy is they anticipate that the first 10 of these that are being built, I'm going to step back right now. What's going on in nuclear is plants that have been decommissioned and shut down in the past are now being recommissioned and reactivated. There's one in Michigan, there's one in Iowa. 3 Mile Island is the third one. They built a brand new one in Georgia, a new extremely large plant. And the cost on that was, I think, 4 or 5 times the initial estimate. It was extremely expensive. We had the Public Service Commission from Georgia talk about that, and it took a lot of political fortitude for them to continue on when the costs kept skyrocketing. But they did get it built. It's a Vogel plant, it's called, and it is now functioning. The next level of these is called the small modular reactors. They're the smaller ones are 100 to 200 megawatt plants, and the larger ones are 300 to 500 megawatts. They're still very expensive, and the conversation that I had that came out of the Department of Energy is they think the first 10 of these that are going to be built are not going to be cost effective. They're going to take some level of probably a federal grant program or something like that in order to get the cost in line. But when you get up to that 20 and 40 times, then all of a sudden the costs are associated with are going to come down to be more reasonable. The timeline that that's going to happen, what I keep hearing is anywhere from 10 to 20 years. So when they look at that, the eastern areas they felt were probably had the ability to serve the 200 and 300 megawatt reactors. Those in the western areas might be in that 100 to 200 megawatt to the smaller SMRs. A lot of the discussion revolved about local engagement, local involvement. And the bottom line is they probably will never get built in a community that doesn't want to have it built there. So if the community says, I think this is something we're interested in, there's going to be probably an opportunity somewhere down the line in North Dakota that could be looked at. The other thing that I've advocated is when they come in and say, as you transition away from coal to nuclear, I stop them and I say, that kills the discussion in North Dakota right now when you use language like that. If you say we think nuclear has a role that can be served in addition to our other energy sources, then you have at least a window of opportunity related to it. The other thing, when we look at this long of a timeline, there will be a lot of discussions. And I pretty strongly believe that if the intent of a utility is to say that we're going to build a nuclear plant in North Dakota to provide power to Minnesota, when Minnesota has a law on their books that says no more new nuclear in Minnesota, they also have one in the books that says we're going to be carbon free by a certain date. Nobody's going to be interested in saying, yeah, we're willing to build a nuclear plant just so that North Minnesota can be carbon free and have no new nuclear. That isn't going to happen. So the benefit of it is going to be here in North Dakota will have to be a benefit to the residents of the state. I feel pretty strongly that, so it has to gain local acceptance, and the power that's being generated by it has to benefit the state. And so that's kind of where I've been at. When we look at what's taking place on it right now, we did a lot in this Advanced Nuclear Committee at the last meeting where we talked about the growth in demand and how that's going to be met. None of the utilities that operate in the state have nuclear on their 10-year plan. All of them have looked at it a little bit, just said, okay, what would, if it's going to be worth looking at, what's going on with it, the type of thing. But mostly just for background knowledge base and to see what the options are out there. But none of them have the official, anything officially on their books in a 10-year time frame. So, so then we talked about the growth in demand. Now, this is my own impression right now, is when I looked at what they presented, they said we believe we have the capacity to handle what I'm going to call the generic growth, the communities, the population growth, some value-added energy and ag projects. All of that is in that 2 to 3%, generally speaking, until you get to data centers. Then you're looking at 20, 30, 40%. And the power demand, I've seen some things where they project that we could see a 30% increase in demand for power in the next 5 to 7 years. Where is that going to come from? The quickest and easiest and most available is natural gas generation. Basin Electric built, I call it a peaking plant. It's called the Pioneer, west of Williston. That was an $800 million investment. And it generates about 550 megawatts of power. They've got the Bison plant that they're working on. That'll be in the Epping area. That's a 1,490 megawatt plant, which will be larger. The largest power plant that we have right now is Coal Creek, a coal plant. And that's about 1,150. So that will be, at that time that's completed, will be the largest power plant in the state located at Epping. Surprisingly, in the middle of the oil field, we actually have a power shortfall, essentially, for electrical generation because of the electrification that's taking place in the oil field. There's been significant growth in that demand. Rainbow Energy at Coal Creek Station in Underwood has plans for a 2,100 megawatt natural gas plant. Basin Electric and NextEra just recently announced a 1,450 megawatt gas generation plant in Mercer County. You may have seen this just, I think on Tuesday, Rainbow and Intensity announced that they're going to build their own natural gas pipeline, a 36-inch line that'll run from Watford City. It'll go through Dunn County and go over to Underwood. That will be separate from the other pipeline that WBI is looking at building. Now, they spent almost a year trying to figure out a way to get them built in one pipeline, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen for a variety of reasons, which I'm aware of some of them, but anyway, so we're going to see a WBI line as well. So you will again end up with 2 natural gas lines that will be coming through Dunn County if all of these come to play. The WBI line will have the capacity ownership of the state behind it, which is up to $50 million a year for 10 years. They have not finalized their design on that. I think they were waiting to find out how the Rainbow one worked. I know that their thought was a 36-inch line for that. They were looking at going up to 42. It was my belief that the bigger the line they went, the more likelihood they would access the $50 million state capacity commitment, because you're building for future, and there might be a period of time at the beginning where you don't have all the users in place to use that gas. Now, with the Rainbow doing their own line, I think there's a lot of juggling taking place to try to determine how this is going to play out. But there was a fairly high confidence level that if the WBI line was 36 inches, that there would be enough demand that the likelihood of a draw on that 50 million a year was going to be low. Now there's some uncertainty of that. And that's primarily driven by timing. Can the additional demand take place along those stretches to have all the offtake needed? I think the confidence level of the demand will be there. It's just the timing of when it will be there is a question. So natural gas right now, probably the biggest challenge is supply chain issues related to construction of these plants. This is a worldwide thing that's taking place. And some countries are buying their way to the front of the line on getting the components to build the gas plants. So we'll see how supply chain issues factor in as far as the ability to get these done in a timely manner. So that kind of covered, I think, what I had on my list. Open to, as a secondary note, I don't, they're going to probably announce it, I think, this week. Kelby Timmons has decided not to run for the House. He was reappointed to that position, and Brent Schwann has announced that and the official announcement has not come out yet, so I'm probably leaking something right now, but it should be this week, has announced that he's going to run. And they would have been here today, but Levi Bachmeyer, Superintendent of Public Instruction, was meeting in East Fairview at the Yellowstone School District with them today, so they went over there for that meeting. So, but those are the only, that's as far as candidates go, that's, I've known Brent for a long time. He used to be a game warden. He worked in the oil field for a while, and then more recently had worked at First International Bank as a commercial lender. And then he stepped back from that. And now I think he's, as a part-time deal, he helps out at Cenex in Watford City. So, and he sent his regrets he wasn't able to come, but he already is seeing the doubling up of scheduling issues. So, and he would like to come down and see you at some point. But with that, we scheduled a half an hour and I'm 25 minutes into it. So I'm open to any other questions or any thoughts or anything that you guys have that you want to bring up.
I've got a few questions, thoughts, things I've been wondering about, and probably has gone through the session already is, with the legacy fund, there's lots of new schools need to be built. Has there ever been any help come from legacy fund? Because, when it goes to a vote of the people, nobody wants to build new schools and it struggles a lot. Has any thought ever come to help with some of the interest earnings or something? Because I think Bellefield's been struggling for a number of years to try and get a new school. And is there been talk, and I haven't followed this sessions real close, but to help?
And I don't serve on any of those committees. What I do know, there is a school construction program available that provides some low interest loans, but you still have to get the bond issue approved,
right?
Which takes a 60% vote. I know that in the past, I've approached some ideas where that, to make it more palatable, that there should be maybe some additional funding for construction come from the state in the form of grants. That I've talked to some legislators in that regard. Really hasn't gone very far, as far as buy-in related to that. But legacy fund right now, basically we do three things, and it's pretty much with any tax dollars. We pay for services, we pay for infrastructure, and we reinvest. And so right now with the legacy fund earnings, part of that goes back into a reinvestment. Part of it goes for infrastructure investments, and part of it is used for keeping our taxes low and paying for additional other services for the state. So all that revenue is used in one of those three areas. So if you want to say we're going to do something different with it, then it comes out of, it's like the school lunch program. We're seeing a lot of pressure on that, provide free lunches. Potentially, very likely, we would see an initiated measure, which would be a constitutional measure that, if you believe the polling, that would pass, barring if this legislature then implements a statute, a bill that would provide that type of funding. The language I saw related to the initiated measure or that side of it basically left up to the legislature on how you determine where the funding comes from. So in that regard, then the legislature will have to make a decision. Where do we take the funding from? Because it comes out of someplace else, or do we have to look at some level of additional tax on something to provide the funding? You guys all make these decisions all the time. The money's there, it's being used for something. So do you reduce the foundation aid payments to cover this? Do you cut back in someplace else? we believe that the state's revenues are going to not continue to grow. They're going to be stable, and there might be some constraints. And this is especially true over the next 2 years. Right now, worldwide, the consumption is around between 103 and 104 million barrels a day. Production is about 105 to 107 million barrels a day. So we have excess production versus consumption taking place, and that's going to keep our prices low. That's cyclical, and I've seen some charts that indicate within about 2 years that they believe that that's going to flip. And if that does happen, then we're going to see a price increase as far as oil prices within that 18-month to probably 30-month time frame when we'll see. And if that does flip, then we might be seeing some significant increases in prices on the oil side.
One other question I got, rural water. I know in the county, we've been trying to get homes in the rural to increase our population here, but it seems like we're so short on water. I mean, even like the city of Manning here is short on water because we can't get it. But I understand it's in Dunn Center. But is there any, I'm sure it's a hot topic.
There is here, not only you guys, Dickinson, Medora, there is a lot of interest in an outlet off of Lake Sakakawea to get that done. There was a lawsuit involved, and it's been going on for a couple of years now that has stalled that to a certain, and I don't know the details of the lawsuit. Right now, it's been held pretty confidential. There is also an outlet sitting up there, I think that Basin has, and there's been discussions related to being able to access that. But I haven't heard anything for quite a few months related to the status of that. But there is an ongoing effort to get additional capacity off the lake in some manner that would increase the availability of water in southwestern part of the state. So happening much slower than everybody would like it to be, but there is some things happening still. It's just slow, and I could probably find out a little bit more. But yeah, there is a continued interest and a lot of pressure still for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions? Bob?
That pipeline is coming out of McKenzie County through Dunn County. Where's it headed?
The Rainbow and Intensity line would end up at Underwood. That's a 36-inch private line. They're, unless they have developed some additional off-takers on it right now, all we know is that that they would use all of that gas for that gas plant, which would be in support of a data center, is my understanding. The other WBI line would come from basically from south of Watford through Dunn County. Probably I anticipate it would hit that closed gas plant in Mercer County, provide gas there. On to Washburn, it's going to be north of Bismarck. Jamestown, there's offtake demand there, and would probably end up in that Mapleton area just west of Fargo. And then from there, then I think that both Excel and Minn Kota would be looking at building a gas plant in that area to provide power either independently, jointly. I think there's a lot of discussions going on related to that. Along with that, they have the ability, I think, or intention of accessing gas from about 27 different gas plants located throughout the Bakken. To put on, I've had a question, if we build two 36-inch lines, do we have enough gas to fill two 36-inch lines? And I believe there is, but I'm still waiting for a little bit more confirmation about how that all looks in that regard. The WBI line would be able to access the line that runs, I think it's out of Dunn County and heads southwest into Montana and Wyoming. There's a northern border would be an option as far as being able to hook up with. There's another gas line that runs from Bismarck up to Minot that they would be able to tap as well. There's another one over by Jamestown. And then when they get to the Fargo market, there's another line that runs in Minnesota that right now is providing gas in Fargo and Grand Forks. They also were getting a lot of interest out of Grand Forks that they would run a line up to Grand Forks to provide Bakken gas there. They're very interested in that. Additionally, there is a work being done right now on another line that would run from Tioga to Minot. There's a proposed pig iron plant that would bring tailings out of Minnesota to Minot to be smelted into pig iron. And they would want a gas line from there to Minot. So historically, when we look at the revenue streams on oil and gas, about 95 to 97% of the revenue comes on the oil side of it, with 3 to 5% coming off the natural gas side of it. When the gas capture rules got put in place about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, that required, right now I think we're capturing 96 or 97% of the gas. At least I didn't see that capture as being an opportunity, but the industry invested $25+ billion in gas capture, gas plants, pipelines, and so forth. Now we're seeing probably in the digital $10 to $20 billion in additional investment because we have that gas capture in the state, from the Pioneer plant, the Bison plant, those 2 gas plants I talked about, the 2 pipelines coming. So we're seeing a tremendous advantage showing up at the natural gas that really, if you really wanted to talk from an economic standpoint, 10 years ago, they wanted to flare it.
Not only, just the natural gas itself, but the centrally assessed value to the counties is going to be tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, already in Dunn County, probably 55% or more of our valuation is pipeline. So
Yep.
it's going to have a huge benefit in that regard.
Yeah. I remember when I first moved up to McKenzie County, they put the Northern Border Pipeline in. That one pipeline generated more revenue than our general fund spent. So
is construction expected to start in like 26 or 27 on these pipelines? Do they?
I would be surprised if they actually started construction in 26. They got a lot of easement work to do and so on. And obviously all of them want to have is voluntary easements if it's possible. Well, and I think their intention is, the challenge with landowner relations has gotten more difficult for linear infrastructure all the time. And these companies are aware of those challenges, and they're aware of the mistakes that have been made by others in the past, and they all want to avoid that. So I think they're going to be working very diligently. And I heard this on the power line side of it, is that when we look at building power lines now, the cost is 3 to 4 times what it used to be. Part of that is related to getting easements, and not just, but material costs and easements are much higher than they used to be. So, but yeah, their intention is to try to, and I know of one project, I think the only condemnations or eminent domain that they ever ended up doing was with some trusts where they were having trouble. And finally the administrators of it said, well, just eminent domain, because we have too many entities and trying to get the signatures that they needed are not going to happen. So they were basically voluntary eminent domains in that project. And it was because of trust issues, trust lands are held in trust. So, but continues to be a big concern, big issue. And we're going to, I think the companies are aware of what happens with poor landowner relations. And so they're going to hopefully bring their A game on that side of it. One final thing, you guys probably saw McKenzie County denied the solar farm project. We are going to probably, I don't know if there's been any solar or wind farms, but there's like an 18-month window for them to actually get construction projects started before their tax benefits are no longer available. So I think we're going to see additional pressure on that side of it in certain areas of the state if they can get it done. So be aware. I don't know.
Yeah,
But other than that, that's all I had.
sure appreciate you coming and
Bet.
getting us up to speed a little bit anyway on
Yeah.
some of these issues.
As always, if there's anything that comes up that you guys, if you'd like me to come back or if you have an issue that shows up, give me a call and I'm happy to sit down and visit on it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Care. Yeah. That brings us to the end of our agenda for a motion. Oh,
I'd like to, after Senator Patton's remarks, we, for our 26 budget, we've kind of cut back on some of our road projects. I'm wondering if we shouldn't, so we would stay within our limit, if we need to escalate that a little bit, or I think that's something, and maybe in one of our discussions, we have our workshop to kind of take a look at that if we want to. I think Sally's got the number, just so we make sure that we don't end up in trouble when they come around and thing for that. So, and one other thing I have too, I thought about it and I visited with some people, especially this time of the year and kind of our off season. Would it be suggestion, as just a suggestion, is maybe to go to one meeting a month? I mean, we don't have much engineers reports. There's not much going on. Our engineers ain't bringing in estimates in this time of the year. So it's food for thought. What you think? Discussion, whether some other thoughts.
I'd like, just try it. Couple months, see what happens. We're just gonna have to change that our bills are gonna have to come in at a certain time and they're paid. Bills that are in get paid, the ones that don't get paid or don't get in, don't get paid till next month. The oil
Yeah.
field's been that way for years. They're 3 months out, most of them. That would be the only sticker I could see in the bills. But if we put a deadline on, they gotta be in by the 28th of the month.
Yeah. I kind of hate to see us go back to once a month. I think it also, it gives citizens or whoever would have an issue a more timely time to come. And I would rather that we finish our meetings before noon than go longer every day. I just think it doesn't, I don't know that we'd gain that much.
Food for
I
thought.
don't- Yeah, and yeah, it'll get busy here in a couple months, so then we'd be flipping back and forth. So I would as soon as stay the way we are, but something to think about.
Something to think about that. And then these road projects, can we, instead of just taking a look at these road projects, instead of doing the whole 5 miles, can we do a couple improvements and make the road better?
I agree, and I think them are some of the things we need to look at I've been a real advocate of, we've got the equipment, we've got some of the forces to do some of them. Instead of upgrading the whole thing, do some of it ourselves. I get some of these roads need a total rebuild, but some just have some snow traps. I think that's something this winter in our off season, we should sit down and take a look at them and get some input from some of the guys that know where the snow traps are at and go from there. I think that's a good idea. Move to adjourn.
Hey,
Well, that's your job.
that's my job.
Okay.
Your second fiddle.
He can adjourn, I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Kleeman to adjourn. Meeting adjourned all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, meeting adjourned, 11:13.